Good morning, friends. We have been talking on the 33 strategies of war, and we have already talked about 18 strategies under various heads. And we are talking about the offensive warfare. In offensive warfare, we have spoken and talked about 4 strategies, and today I shall be talking about the next 3 strategies of war by Mr. Robert Greene. And the 20th strategy is simple. It says maneuver them into weakness. Maneuver your opponents or enemies into a place or a position of weakness. And he termed this as the ripening for the sickle strategy. It simply means that no matter how strong you are, fighting endless battles with people is exhausting, costly, and surely unimaginative. Wise strategists preferred the art of maneuver, the cavalier's best attitude, or the best move. The whole armored core strategy is based on maneuvering your opponent. Outmaneuver him and you are the victorious. Before the battle even begins, they find ways to put their opponents in positions of such weaknesses that victory is easy and quick. My friends, the author says create dilemmas, create confusion as much as you can in the enemy's camp, in your opponent's mind. Devise maneuvers, weaknesses, that victory of ways to respond all of them very badly. Bait enemies, he says, into talking position that may seem alluring, but actually they are traps and blind alleys. If this position is strong, get them to abandon it by leading them into a wild goose chase and channel that chaos and disorder into the direction you desire. Confused, frustrated, and angry opponents are the ripe fruits on the board. The slightest breeze will make them fall and stumble. So to win 100 victories in 100 battles is not the highest excellence, remember. The highest excellence, my friend, lies in subduing the enemy or enemy's army without fighting a single salvo or without fighting at all. The 21st strategy is negotiate while advancing. The diplomatic, he named it as a diplomatic war strategy. Before and during negotiations, you must keep advancing, create relentless pressure and compelling the other side to settle on your terms. The more you take, the more you can give back in meaningless concessions. Create, my friend, a reputation of being tough and simply uncompromising. You don't give up, so that the people are back on their heels even they meet you. Now, people will always try to take from you in any kind of negotiations what they cannot or could not get it from you in a battle or any direct confrontation. They will even use appeals to fairness and morality as a cover to advance their points or positions. Do not take it into negotiation as ever, do not get trapped in there. Moves. Negotiations, remember, is about maneuvering from power to placement. And you must always put yourself in the kind of strong position that makes it impossible for the other side to not to accept or to wriggle away at your driving your trucks. Just remember, the author says that everybody wants something without having any idea how to obtain it. Basic desire of everyone. And the really intriguing aspect of the situation is that nobody quite knows how to achieve what he or she desires. But because I know what I want and what the others are capable, I am completely prepared for the negotiation and getting my pound of flesh. The 22nd strategy, the last strategy of the offensive warfare. The author says, know how to end things. Very important. We seldom don't know. We begin, but we don't know how to end the. And he named this thought as an exit strategy. You are judged in this world by how well you bring things to an end, to conclusion. The art of ending things well is knowing when to stop. My friend, the height of strategic wisdom is to avoid all conflicts and entanglements from which there are no realistic exits and you get trapped. Never going so far that you exhaust yourself or create bitter enemies that embroil you in a conflict in future. It also entails ending on the right note with energy and flair. It is not the question of simply finishing the war, but the way you win, in the way your victory sets you up for the next round fully charged, fully energized, and with full enthusiasm. Just remember, author explains very beautifully, there are three kinds of people in the world. The first kind, majority, they're dreamers and talkers. Emotional creativity, emotional the bursts. These people live mainly in the moment, and they start with enthusiasm, and when the going gets tough, the obstacles or the problems they confront while proceeding, they lose interest very easily. And they immediately set for new goals, which was their eyes, they grabs their attention to. Dreamers and talkers. The second category are the people, those who bring things to conclusion. They start with enthusiasm, they work hard, negotiate every obstacle, every hindrance, every resistance. They carry on. They start out very well, but they mar the end of the campaign. By the end, they reach the concluding, they are tired, dejected, and they feel, they look unsatisfied. My friend, it is not memorable. They will regret. This kind of victories, they do not last. They do not have resonance. And there is ultimately third kind of people. They believe in the primary law of power and energy. They start with full planning, with full enthusiasm. They execute ruthlessly their plans, meet every resistance with a challenge, They end up with, and every move they win, they get further recharged, further inspired, further motivated. And they finish with the bang, fully charged for meet the next success, whatever they desire. These people, they create history. Their victory lasts. They create a meaningful peace, a measurable work of art, a long and a fruitful career. Thank you very much. We shall continue tomorrow.